People in the diaspora always uh, complain about the Nigerian government being corrupt. Why is that?
Okay, the way I see it is this. Um, the people in the diaspora are supposedly the smart ones, right? They went through whatever they had to do to be able to get their visa and to be able to leave the country. And now they're here doing great things. Like we know, we have, especially Nigerians to be specific, we have a lot of Nigerians doing great things in the diaspora. But the question then is, why are those back home corrupt in in the leadership? Why are they corrupt? My take is this: they we left the country in the hands of supposedly those that are corrupt. Because if you look at the history of Nigeria in the early days, those are leaders, the Awolowo them, the Zig them, the Tafa Belowe them, and other leaders. They all came to the overseas, they traveled overseas, they got educated, some of them maybe worked a little bit, and came back home to be part of the nation building. But something happened along the line. Something happened along the line when those that traveled, after their education, they stayed. They never come back home to participate in the building, in the building of the nation. They stayed. And this is what happened when all of you go out. Everybody leaves the country to come and stay overseas. Who do you leave the country in their hands, right? Who do you leave the country for to now work on? Is these people you're calling corrupt? Is these crazy guys that doesn't give a schmuck, that doesn't have that your kind of education, that might not even have that your kind of feeling towards building a nation, but they just come in there and ripping it up, and that is why we have all these people there. So eventually, if you and I want to rebuild our country, we have to at some point make up our mind and get up and go back home. Take it back the way things used to be, where these our leaders come here, they get educated, they get the exposure they need, and they take this back home to build the nation. So it gets old when people here in the diaspora, always posting and saying things about how corrupt the leaders are. Guess what? You left the nation in their hands and they're messing it up. If you want it fixed, let's go back. And some of us younger ones are kind of taken from the older ones. You see some Nigerians that are doing very well here and they're in their 70s, right? Some maybe even in their 80s. You're wondering, what the heck are you still doing out here? Go back home, because those people screwing up the country where your mates. You left them and ran out here. You're staying here. Now go back home. It's time to go. So my take is, the diasporans, especially the older generation of Africans, of Nigerians that have made the diaspora their home, it's time to uproot themselves and go back home and make their home, and then try whatever they can do to help in rebuilding the country. So the mess the continent is because they left. They left the country. They stayed. They got enticed by the goodies of the diaspora. They never came back home, and you leave the country in the hands of the hoodlums, so to say, and they're making a mess of it. So at some point, we in the diaspora need to stop complaining, right? And pack our bags and go back home and become part of the group, become part of the change, become part of building that continent. We know that Africa has everything that we need. Africa, we have everything, both the human resources and the mineral resources and whatever resources you need. We have it there. Now that we have the exposure, now that we have the education, let's take it back and build.